Blog Talk Radio.
Across the country and around the world, streaming live on the internet, it's Real Estate Coaching Radio, bringing you the latest news, interviews, and secrets of the top producers. Hosted by award-winning real estate coaches, Tim and Julie Harris. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Ventura, filling in for Tim and Julie Harris. Welcome back to Casual Friday on Real Estate Coaching Radio. This week, we're going to be talking to a company called Landvoice, and we're going to learn why they can play a pivotal role in your lead generation process. Now, this is a live show, so call in and tell me how your summer is going. Our call-in number here is 347-857-1195, or write me at questions@realestatecoachingradio.com. Also, if you want to schedule a free coaching call, I am on the roster, so visit freecoachingcallsforagents.com right now and schedule your appointment. There's no catch, no gimmicks, just pick a time that works for you and click schedule. It only takes a minute to do it, but the results will last you a lifetime. Okay, let's get started. Once again, we're talking about a company called Landvoice, a company that has been in the industry since way back in 1991, but they've remained competitive, and they provide some pretty innovative, unique offerings for lead generation for agents involving the cloud. Now, we have a guest with us from Landvoice, a gentleman named Shaun Farr, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at Landvoice, and I'm going to bring him on, give him a welcome, and ask him to get us started with understanding how they can help us. Okay, Shaun, are you with us?
Tim, I'm here. Thanks for having me today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate your time. You know, Landvoice this is an exciting company. What you guys do in delivering leads, you've been doing it forever, but the quality and the way that you guys do it is very exciting. And in fact, just to tell our listeners, Tim Harris said, you know what, I'm really excited about this as well. He wanted to step in, steal today's Casual Friday show from me and interview you himself, but he actually had another commitment that he wasn't aware of. So I'm very pleased to have you on the show. Now, I'd like to start out by asking you, for those who might not know what it is, can you tell us a little bit about what Landvoice is and what it does for agents?
Yeah, thanks so much. So as you mentioned, Landvoice has been around since 1991. Landvoice was founded on the idea of helping real estate agents build their business with for sale by owner leads. And so we really started out just focusing on seller leads and helping real estate agents identify where those seller leads are to bring in new listings and help them grow and build their business. And so we started there. That was our core with for sale by owners. As many of you know, 84% of for sale by owners list with an agent in their area. And those aren't our stats. That comes directly from NAR, the National Association of Realtors. And so we started there, and then ever since then have branched out into other areas of lead generation with, for example, expired leads. A lot of real estate agents know that they've got expireds and withdrawns and canceled information right on their MLS. But a lot of real estate agents spent a lot of time trying to find contact information and phone numbers. And so Landvoice specializes in finding that contact information, those phone and cell phone numbers, to reach out to those homeowners and help them get their home relisted and sold properly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The FSBO thing is particularly interesting to me because that's something that Tim and Julie Harris talk about all the time, and it expires as well. I mean, don't get me wrong,
sure.
But you're absolutely right. That 84%, those are really up for the taking, right? Those are folks they're unrepresented sellers, and they're out there probably not having the success that they would like, and so it sounds like Landvoice is really helping agents to connect with them.
That's exactly right. We do that all over the U.S. and in Canada, and our agents find just tremendous success from it. As the market heats up, and it really has the last few months, a lot of those listings that they currently have under contract are selling faster. And because that's the case, it's that much more important to prospect and to reach out to additional leads to continue to bring in new listings and capitalize on a hotter market.
Well, so let me ask about your role. Let me step back from Landvoice for just a second. Now, I was really intrigued because you are the Chief Revenue Officer, and one of the things that I've seen in the business community is that's kind of an emerging title. You know, it's something that I haven't seen a lot of that until recently, and now more companies have those. Can you tell me about what your role is with Landvoice?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is almost kind of a newer position that some people may be familiar with, and more you look around at large organizations, there are more of these what they call CRO or Chief Revenue Officers that are out there. So my roles and responsibilities, I wear quite a few hats here at Landvoice, but focus primarily on business development and marketing, and so I oversee our sales team and their manager, our affiliate manager, which we work with, as well as our marketing and graphic design department. And so we work in a lot of areas and oversee all the events that we attend as well. But more or less it's just to help find opportunities for Landvoice to grow as we work with real estate agents all over the U.S.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's interesting to see how business continues to change, and so it sounds like your role really is diverse then in helping Landvoice to connect, I guess.
Connect is a big part of it. We really want to share the message of what we're doing and how we're innovating and how we're helping agents not only get access to the best seller leads on the market, but at the same time keeping it extremely simple and easy. What we've found in the past is that when we complicate things for our clients, it makes it very hard to succeed in a specific atmosphere of prospecting. And so our focus is simplicity and ease of use and helping these agents succeed in whatever market they're in.
Well, you know, I visited. I mean, obviously, when I was writing questions, you know, I was going through the Landvoice website. Let me give that to the audience. That's www.landvoice.com. And when I was looking at the website, I was intrigued because I was thinking back to 1991, right? And I thought, okay, well, you know, here's a list of leads that they're providing, and these are probably phone leads and addresses for postcards and, you know, geofarming and stuff like that. But now, with the innovation that you were just talking about, you guys have a kind of a cloud-based approach to it looks like lead acquisition, screening, and then delivery to agents. And so I was wondering, could I touch on the cloud aspect of it for a moment? You know, how does that work?
Yeah, thanks. So, you know, back in 1991, as everyone knows, that's pre-internet. And so Landvoice actually delivered for sale by owner, FSBO leads, through fax. They actually faxed new leads to real estate agents all over the U.S. And obviously, as time and technologies advanced, we delivered leads through email and found that was very archaic at a certain point, and rebuilt an entirely new system where we found it to be much more effective for our clients to manage their leads from any device. And so they simply go to landvoice.com, log in every morning from their iPad or their iPhone or their Mac or PC, and they can manage their leads. They can cross out numbers, they can leave notes, and as they do that, everything's managed in the cloud to stay organized from any device they log in from. We found it to be effective. Some real estate agents like to travel, but they still like to follow up with many of their contacts. And they can do that again from any device, even while they're sitting on a cruise ship. They're able to log in and access those leads as long as they have access to the internet. And that's really what we mean by cloud-based, is being able to access and stay up to date and keep all of the leads up to date as they manage them on a daily basis from any device.
Oh, okay. So maybe one way, and this is just how I'm visualizing this, but, you know, we've done several shows on CRMs and real estate transaction management, and I think one of the things that I've definitely stressed, and many of our guests have stressed as well, is when it comes to managing leads and stuff like that, that CRM model is the best way to keep them organized. So what you're talking about sounds like kind of a CRM, with the exception that you guys are putting the leads in there for the agent.
Yeah, that's right. So we're populating all that information every morning, and so the agent simply just logs in every morning, has access to those new leads, and is able to prospect immediately. And so again, just trying to focus on simplicity and ease of use. We've found that there's a lot of software CRM systems to download. We found that to be just too clunky. We never wanted to really build a system where you had to download software on your computer. And so with this web-based platform where everything syncs in the cloud, it really is an effective tool for our clients.
Yeah. Well, just visualizing that, and again, I've had the usual, I'm sure everybody probably has, the usual battles with, getting the leads into the CRM and then keeping them organized and all that kind of stuff. And so, a lot of agents are still using Excel spreadsheets too. So I definitely, I resonate, I guess, with this idea of having a cloud-based tool where they just appear. It's just the leads that you need, and you can work through them, and you don't have to monkey around keeping them. You don't have to monkey with keeping them organized. You're able to just kind of work them, I guess, and focus on what you're good at as an agent instead of the technology behind it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well, I wanted to, and again, since we're talking about cloud-based stuff,
Sure.
Would that include the lead sources as well, or are you still mostly tapping traditional sources to get your data? I guess what I'm wondering is kind of where the leads originate from.
Yeah, that's a great question. And every lead source is a little bit different. And so when you talk about a for sale by owner lead, Landvoice now taps into over 1,700 sources and aggregates that data from every website, newspaper, and magazine. If someone lists a for sale by owner somewhere, we find that from 1,700 different sources. That number has increased over the years as we've acquired other for sale by owner lead sources. And because we've been doing it since 1991, no other company aggregates that data from that many sources. We're able to then scrub and clean that data to make sure it's a true for sale by owner, not just, a lot of agents list homes for sale, kind of what we call blind ads online. And so we do some very heavy scrubbing to make sure it's not listed with an agent, to make sure it's not vacant land or a mobile home. And it's a true for sale by owner with value that will create great commissions for our clients. And so when you ask about sources with for sale by owners, 1,700 different sources. Now with Expires, the lead is really on the MLS. So the source. The realtor already has all the data and all the information on that Expired right on their MLS. We simply act as a virtual assistant to help them aggregate any contact information. With an Expired lead, there's a lot of companies out there that'll try and find you a phone number, but Landvoice is a little bit different. We don't just dig up a phone number on the MLS. We go out and do our own research. And so if you give us an address of an Expired lead, or if we can help you with your MLS, we then go directly to the county record. We find the absentee owner, which is very important. You don't want to talk to a tenant to a property when trying to call an Expired lead. So we actually find the absentee owner. Where does that owner actually live? Once we know that, then we go get the home phone and cell phone information, scrub it against the do not call registry, and make sure it's an up-to-date lead for our clients. And they found a lot more success where they're contacting a lot more owners because of the absentee owner lookup and because of the top just tier one data providers that we're able to access and find those phone numbers for those owners.
Well, that I think in itself, that right there was one of the reasons that Tim Harris was so excited about this, and I think that's definitely exciting. Is being able to, and again, this goes back to I think your length in business. There are some things that you can put together overnight, but being able to find real data providers, being able to accurately scrub data, I don't think that's something that a company can just jump into and do a good job with. And I think that was what excited Tim Harris so much about Landvoice is that this is something where you guys have a track record with this, but also you have the experience to be able to know what data sources are good, which ones might not be, what types of data might need to be scrubbed, and then the best places to find stuff like phone numbers and things like that, right?
Tim, that's exactly right. This is obviously a pretty long process that we go through to grab all of this information, and we've really put systems in place to make it automatic. And so rather than a realtor trying to go to the county record and dig up this information and then try and dig up a phone number, we're making all of that automatic for the realtor and for our clients. and really saving them a lot of time every month so they can focus on really what they're good at. And what happens is in life and in business, generally we have so many strings pulling at us in different directions. We feel like Pinocchio at times. And this is one area where Landvoice has been able to help the realtors save time and make a lot more money. So they don't have to focus on this. They can focus, again, on what they're good at, and that's building relationships, building strong relationships to bring in new listings and help these homeowners make more money as they sell their home and move on to the next home that they're buying.
Okay. Well, so the key to this seems to be partly it's the phone number, and then partly it's being able to provide those leads earlier than the competition, right? And I think those are the selling points there. You know, if somebody was to think, you know, wow, what is it about Landvoice that makes them unique? It's you're doing, like in the email world, we would almost call it like a phone number append, a data append.
Sure.
You know, and then you're able to provide those earlier, so the agents in your network are able to get those leads and start working them earlier, right?
That's right. Get them earlier, faster, and being able to log in and access from any device, saving them time and money while helping them make more commissions and obtaining new listings, and also just giving them, you know, up-to-date daily updates on when an expired or for sale by owner goes active, alerting and letting them know and notifying. This really allows a real estate agent to follow up with the lead much longer than just calling it that one day. They've got confidence that they can call that lead over many days until they know that the lead's gone active or relisted with another realtor. And so all of these different processes just help that agent become more effective in what they do.
Well, now, do you guys, I guess there's a requirement for it. With those phone numbers, do you vet those against the do not call list or anything along those lines?
Yeah, it's a great question. So every number that we provide will scrub against the do not call registry. Now, I have to be careful with the word scrub because we hear that and we interpret it different ways. When we say scrub, we still provide the number because some realtors have a relationship or know that contact or that homeowner already. We still provide the phone number. We just let the agent know whether or not it is on the DNC, the do not call registry, and then they'll make the decision from there whether or not they need to call that homeowner or that contact.
Oh, wow. See, and that in itself, I've looked into that, and that's not necessarily the easiest thing for agents to do on their own. So
it can be very expensive for an agent on his own. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, do you provide any types of, like, for instance, because there's information in the system, would you provide, like, email addresses? And if so, do you provide a way for the tool to send emails or anything along those lines?
Yeah, that's actually a really big question that we get quite a bit from our clients. Emails are an interesting animal, if you will. So we actually do provide email addresses for our for sale by owner leads. Now, we don't get them on every for sale by owner lead, but when someone lists a home, and if they do list that email address, we'll provide it. And the great thing about our system, when you log into landvoice.com, click on your FSBOs, and you pull up your FSBOs and there's an email address, what I love is I can click right on that email address, and it pulls up Outlook for me because that's my setting, but it pulls up my email account, populates the email address, and all I have to do now is copy and paste whatever email I want to send to that for sale by owner, and they're able to literally within seconds send off that email to those leads. So we're working on that with other lead sets as well, but what we found is if you've got a James Smith in Los Angeles, California, there's a few other James Smiths in that area, and so it's still a science that we're working out to become more accurate with email addresses. The great thing about the for sale by owners in those emails is they're 100% accurate because when they include that, we'll aggregate that data and make it very easy to send out a quick email or to follow up with a client or a homeowner with an email that oftentimes has already been written or produced by the real estate agent. So it is a simple process to reach out and to email those homeowners.
Okay. So they have some options. And then, if they, obviously, if they want to do postcards or something too, right, there's probably address information of some type. So they could probably do those three. Now, what about social media? Is that an area where you guys have kind of extended your reach into yet, or maybe not quite yet?
Yeah, good. Social media is a great area that a lot of people are reaching out to, but nothing that we've connected on the seller lead side. I know on the buyer lead side there's a little bit more of contact information, but we don't do a lot there. We are innovating, and we are launching new products. So we've talked a lot about our core, about for sale by owners and expireds, but there's a lot of other products that I just want to mention or let our clients know about as well, because those are the two really main popular products out there, but there's some other interesting opportunities that the realtor should really know about as well.
Oh, you mean other products that you guys offer? Well, and again, from looking on the website, it looks like there was expireds, FSBOs, just listed, just sold, which are interesting because I just did a show I think the other week on those, and how those can be used for geofarming. And then it looks like you have the pre-foreclosure and then old expired, and there's an expired pro. Now those are the big six, it looks like. But are you saying that you have some other ones as well?
So a couple of those are brand new, and just listed, just sold are the geofarming we've had out for about a year and a half, and worked really effectively for that for all of our clients. Anytime they have an address and they want to geofarm that neighborhood, they simply give us one address and we'll find 100 to 150 homes in that area. And they can do that as many times as they want to build geofarms. And so our clients love the just listed, just sold. Pre-foreclosures was a hot product a few years ago. So there's some clients that are still using it, but that's a product that's definitely available. Old expired, though, is something really, really exciting that I just wanted to mention to the people out there that are listening, because we have agents. In fact, we just had an agent in San Diego in the last 30 days listed $9 million in properties by working with old expireds. And I think some people understand old expireds, but we do it a little bit different at Landvoice. If you don't mind, I just want to explain that real quickly.
Oh, yeah, go for it. I would love to know more about old expireds and how they're different from a traditional expired listing, I guess.
So in 2013, we all know that inventory across the country was at all-time lows. And so it was really a grind to find new listings or find new owners that wanted to sell the property. And what we found is many of our clients were going back into the databases of their MLS, and they were getting all of the old expireds from 2009 or 10 or 11 or 12 when there was higher inventory and homes weren't selling, when the economy was weaker. And we thought that was a fabulous idea. So they'd take a list, they'd upload that to our system and get all of the phone numbers. And we thought, wow, that's fantastic, great for these agents. And we found that they're doing really, really well. But then we got to thinking, that list in 2010 of expireds on some MLSs could be as big as, let's say, 2,000 old expired leads. But when we started thinking about it, we thought, wow, they're calling 2,000 leads, but a high percentage of those are active on the MLS now, and another high percentage have actually sold since then. But probably the biggest percentage of those old expired leads were pre-foreclosures and short sales and REOs. And so what we thought is, what if we could scrub all of that bad data out of all of those old expireds and shrink that list, let's say from 2,000 to maybe 150 or 200 of the homeowners that gave up on the market when the economy was weak. Those are the people that real estate agents really want to talk to. Those are the homeowners that gave up because their home was underwater, and now it's really a simple message. And what we found is that if agents are calling those 150 people rather than all 2,000 people, that our clients have some really, really high rates of success. And the message is very simple. If you call in and you're able to say, if I'm calling a homeowner and I say, hi, this is Shaun with ABC Realty, and I noticed your home was for sale in 2010, the reason I'm calling is to have quite a few buyers that are looking for homes in your area, and I was wondering if you've ever reconsidered selling your home. And it's in either a quick, no, I'm not interested, we're not going to sell our home anymore, or it's, yeah, actually, I was just thinking about calling a realtor. And then once they follow up and set an appointment, it's a quick listing appointment for many of these agents. And so what Landvoice is really focusing on is trying to save the real estate agent time prospecting 2,000 leads. We want to narrow that list down and just give them the homeowners that gave up on the market when the economy is weak. These are the individuals that just need a quick message to let them know that their home has appreciated since then and that they have a lot of buyers in their area. And it's an opportunity to help a lot of homeowners list their home even though they were in kind of a desperate situation 3 or 4 years ago. And so that's old expireds. It's all the it gets them all of the phone numbers and the cell phone numbers to help them be successful in that area.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Shaun, on that note, let's take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to put you back on hold here for just a sec. And when we come back, we're going to continue talking with Shaun Farr about Landvoice. According to the National Association of Realtors, only 10% of agents complete an amazing 90% of all transactions because they have a coach. If you want the production and performance that comes with being a top producer, then you need one too. Not just any coach, but the leaders in coaching today, Tim and Julie Harris. Don't just take our word for it. Listen to what HGTV star and Atlanta top producer Colette McDonald has to say.
Hi, my name is Colette McDonald, and I'm with RE/MAX in Atlanta, Georgia. I just wanted to take a moment and give a shout out to Tim and Julie Harris. I've been a coaching client of theirs for the last 4 years. When I first started in this business 12 years ago, I was very successful, did a great amount of business, averaged between $8 and $10 million a year. When I contracted with Tim and Julie to be my graduate level coaches, my production increased by 20% per year. I am now trending $30 million this year. That's amazing results over 4 years of working with Tim and Julie Harris. I highly recommend them. Tiger Woods has a coach. And why does he have a coach? Because he can't see his swing. If you do what they tell you to, you will see huge results. I am living proof.
Only Tim and Julie Harris provide powerful one-on-one coaching along with all the lead generation systems, scripts, presentations, team building, and business planning tools you need to dominate your real estate market. We offer affordable pricing with no long-term contracts, and our entire coaching staff are trained professional agents with top producing track records. Take action now and visit us online at freecoachingcallsforagents.com to schedule your free coaching call. There's no risk, no obligation, just a free, personal, one-on-one call with a trained professional coach. Join the elite 10% of agents who make all the difference in today's market. Visit freecoachingcallsforagents.com to get started. Again, that's freecoachingcallsforagents.com. And welcome back, everyone. I'm Tim Ventura, filling in for Tim and Julie Harris. This is Casual Friday on Real Estate Coaching Radio, and we are speaking with Shaun Farr, the Chief Revenue Officer at Landvoice, who has been telling us about a number of products they offer for agents, including, I guess, the focus today has been on FSBOs, Expires, and he just finished telling us about Old Expires, which is a product that really helps save agents a lot of time when they're prospecting and calling leads. So let's bring Shaun back on. Okay, and Shaun, I'd like to get into cost now, if that's okay, if that's something that you feel comfortable talking about. We've gone through a lot of these products. What can an agent expect to pay for these? Is there a ballpark you could share with me?
Yeah, absolutely. So our first sell-by-owner product is $40 a month, and we have packages where you can pay every quarter, every 6 months, every year, and obviously as you do that, you save money as well. Typically, if you pay for the year up front, you'll get a couple of months free. But for sell-by-owners, are $40 a month. Our expired leads are $60 a month, and then those are also bundled. So if you bundle FSBOs and Expires and do both, you'll save about 20%. So it'll be $80 for both the FSBOs and the Expires. And then I mentioned, so Just Listed, Just Sold is a geo-farming tool that we mentioned. Those are also $40 a month. The one that we talked about earlier, just before the break, though, was Old Expires. Now, Old Expires you can do like we mentioned, which is just go get your file, upload it to our system, and get all the phone numbers. But what we do that's different with Old Expires, and we can do that, we can just go get you all the phone numbers and you can call all those leads. But we did something different. When we took that list of, let's say, 2,000 Old Expires, and we filter out all of the junk, and then we go and we send it through something called our Expired Pro database that finds you all the home and cell phone numbers. But the other thing that we do with Old Expires is we make it exclusive. So what you will do as a real estate agent or as an investor, as a real estate agent, you'll pick a zip code and you'll pick a specific year, for example, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13. Pick a year. We'll do all the work and filter out all of the bad data. We'll get you all the contact information with the absentee owner and the cell phone, and then we'll make it exclusive, and we won't sell that zip code in that year to any other realtor. That's $250. Now, it sounds like a lot, but like I mentioned, we had a client in San Diego that just listed $9 million in listings in less than 30 days. Well, what did he do? He called us back and gobbled up as many zip codes and years he could, just so none of his competition would get access to those same leads. And he's absolutely destroying his market right now with the amount of listings he's picking up. So because it's exclusive, because we do a lot of work with the filtering, and because we get you really good data with the cell phone information, it is a little bit more expensive at $250 per zip code per year, but it is another product that's available for those agents that are interested.
Oh, okay. Now, is that something that could be retroactive in any way? I mean, if an agent makes contact with a homeowner or something like that, would they be able to go into the system and put something on it to show, this is being worked that would keep other agents away, or is that something that they really want to kind of contract up front, I guess, for those specific zip codes?
Yeah, that's right. More up front. We are working more and more with updating and making live feeds that will alert the agent. But right now it would be more of an upfront investment that would allow them to work in that area or that specific zip code with those old expired leads.
Oh, okay. Now what about I guess has overlap, has that ever proved to be any kind of an issue? I guess the exclusivity wouldn't exist if it hadn't been in the past. But, for a lot of agents, it's probably not a big issue, right? Or is it?
Well, what we found is that when you're prospecting expireds or for sale by owners, it's really a race. We mentioned the statistic that 84% of real estate or for sale by owners will list with an agent in their area. 70% of for sale by owners actually list with the first agent that contacts them. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they list right away, right, when that first agent makes that call, but that first agent is able to build a little bit of a stronger relationship and eventually, within the next few weeks, is able to actually list that home with that for sale by owner. And so we found that as far as saturation, with the for sale by owners and expireds, not only is it a race, but they'll get hit with a number of phone calls. And what we wanted to provide was a product that would, again, save the real estate agent time, but would also give them an exclusive access to a lead that no one else would be contacting. So is it as much of a race? Not as much, because they're going to be the ones, and Landvoice is going to commit that they won't sell that lead to any other real estate agent. And so it's something they can continue to work with over the coming weeks and months.
Oh, sure. Well, and just to reiterate, right? I mean, that to go back to what you just said about it being a race, it's you're getting them the information, you're getting them accurate information, and you're getting it to them earlier so that they can go out and reach that individual before other agents can, and that's the key selling point for it. Well, let's change focus a little bit because I wanted to ask about market trends. This is something that it seems like you guys are in a really unique position to see. And I was wondering if you could, if it's okay to ask you to prognosticate a little bit, I guess, about what you're seeing in the market in general and how that's affecting your products.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting. As we travel around the country and meet with realtors all over the U.S. and Canada and go to these different events and mingle and interact with real estate agents, we really feel like we do see a little bit of a pulse of what is going on around the country. Obviously, the biggest trend, and this is no secret to the professionals out there, but homes, when we talk about days on market, that number has decreased proportionally for the last few months. And we're seeing that all over the country, that the days on market and when homes are priced right, that they're selling extremely quickly. And that's a great thing for realtors. It's a great thing for Landvoice because we feel that the leads become more and more valuable. I alluded to this earlier, but it's so important to prospect and continue to bring in new listings. So market trends, we know the market's hot. We know it's doing well. My own home, I live just south of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I listed my home in February when it's still snowing outside, and it sold in 8 days. And now that's incredible for a kind of a cold market. But I just had two of my neighbors. They both sold their home in 3 days. And you'd think that there's kind of geographic pockets where that's happening, but everywhere we're going around the country, we're seeing when homes are priced right that they're selling extremely fast. And we anticipate, as far as the market's concerned, that it'll continue that way, that there's a strong demand. There's a lot of pent-up frustration out there, a lot of people that have wanted to buy the homes over the last 4, 5, and 6 years and haven't been able to. Last year in 2013, because of low inventory, weren't able to buy a home or find that right home. And so we know there's a lot of buyers out there. We know that building is now picking up. We're seeing that across the country. And we're seeing that pent-up demand for homes is continuing as buyers look for the right deal and find the right location for that next home purchase.
Interesting. That confirms a lot of the stuff that Tim and Julie have seen and a lot of the stuff that they've said on air as well. And, one of the things that Tim Harris has talked about on the show that kind of resonates with me is he said, we tend to think in long-term views, right, of the market and stuff. But he said for most of us, based on career longevity and stuff like that, we're probably going into the best real estate market right now of our lives. Or at least of our active careers, I guess. Do you think that might be true?
I completely agree. And it goes back to kind of supply and demand. Supply has been limited over the last 12 to 18 months, but the demand is extremely high because, again, no one has been buying homes the last 4 to 5 to 6 years. And so because of that, I completely agree. I think we're going to have an extremely strong market for the next 3 to 4 years as we try and catch up, as inventory tries to catch up with the demand that's out there. And so there's nothing but blue skies for realtors and for the real estate industry and as a whole.
Well, now in terms of lead generation, and this is I don't know what you'd call. I guess this might be a self-serving question for you guys. But for an agent in the system who's switching from REO and short sales, and maybe they were doing those pre-foreclosures or something, folks who are just coming out of that, who are getting back into traditional sales. In the Landvoice system, that's pretty easy for people to do, right? Or if there are pockets where it goes the other way and they decide that they want to go the other way with things, they can also generate leads pretty easily there as well, right?
Yeah, they really can. Yeah, what we always encourage each of our agents is to build different pillars of income. There's so many that were all in. They dove in head first and were all in with REOs and short sales, and they made their fortune the last few years. But if they haven't broken that up and built other pillars of income, they're really hurting right now. And so that's the important part, is to be strong in like a for sale by owner in an expired market. Be strong in a sphere of influence and a referral type of industry and have that pillar of income. And then be strong in one or two other areas to really diversify your income and make sure you're ready when the market does change again. 'Cause the key is always to be ahead of the curve. And those real estate agents that have done well the last few years have diversified and built different pillars of income and have built effective teams and have always watched those market trends that you alluded to earlier to keep themselves ahead of that curve that we've talked about.
Well, speaking of in terms of market trends, I think one of the big trends that we're also seeing with agents is they feel pressured, at least, to go to Zillow and Trulia for leads more than they have in the past. And in a sense, those are kind of competitors for what you guys are doing, right? But I'm wondering how does Landvoice position itself with the Zillows and the Trulias out there who are claiming at least to provide quality data, to the masses, so to speak.
Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com are fantastic companies and really have capitalized on a billion-dollar industry. They focus on the buyer side of the leads, and they do a fantastic job on the buyer side. And there's really a market and a great demand for what they produce. And so I applaud them for the way they've conducted their business and the way that they help real estate agents. it's interesting with a buyer lead. Every area is a little bit different, and how they perform is different. What we've found on the seller side is obviously we're at Landvoice much smaller than a Zillow or a Trulia, but when you focus on the seller side, when you focus on a for sale by owner or you focus on an expired lead, the trends, and again you'll see this through NAR, is typically when you list a property, that will normally turn into somewhere between 2 and 4 listings on the buyer side. And so those buyer leads will come as well as you get really good and as you work effectively on the seller side. And obviously there's statistics on both sides. When you're working with buyers, you'll oftentimes find sellers. But we know when you list a property on the seller side with a homeowner that's trying to sell their home, that will normally equate to somewhere between 2 and 4 new sales on the buyer side for you as well. And so we encourage our clients to prospect effectively, to work the seller side for a specific period of time every day, whether that's an hour or 2 or 3 hours a day, and that will automatically generate buyer leads and buyer listings or opportunities to make money and capitalize on the commissions on the buyer side by working effectively with these seller leads.
That also resonates with what Tim and Julie have talked about at length in terms of the longevity in the industry seems to come from being a listing agent, not from being a buyer's agent. And maybe that comes from the competition, I guess, that's involved with it. But also what you're saying, when you generate the listings, it creates buyer leads as well.
It sure does. Buyer leads with new relationships that are built there to help those buyers find the right home.
Well, Shaun, we're almost out of time for today, but I just want to thank you again for joining us. This has been, incredibly educational, but also a wonderful opportunity to share kind of the Landvoice vision with our audience. I'd like to recommend that everyone take a look at the website at www.landvoice.com. And, Shaun, I'm wondering if you have any closing thoughts for our audience today.
Final thoughts, thank you. As I've mentioned in the interview today, Landvoice is working extremely hard to innovate and to make the system simple and easy for real estate agents. We have a core of products that we've talked about today, but I want to make a couple of just quick announcements. You might see this on our website in the next week to 2 weeks, but next week, and this is great news and really big news that we're really excited about, but next week, Landvoice is launching its own dialing system, what we like to call a power dialer. We've noticed over the last few years that our realtors receive so many leads from Landvoice, it's tough to keep up and follow up with all of those leads day after day after day. And so we'll be launching our own Landvoice dialer where you can call 1 line at a time or up to 4 lines at a time. And so it's a dialer that will call, again, 1, 2, 3, or 4 lines. And it's going to help our real estate agents become even more effective as they follow up with their clients. And so be watching for that. That's going to go live next week. What we're really focusing on is not only the real estate agent as a client, but helping them evolve to where Landvoice becomes a one-stop shop, where they can turn to for short sales and expireds and for sale by owners and geo-farming. And now they can use a dialer. And that's not all. Over the next, in the third and fourth quarter of 2014, we'll be launching 2 other products. And so our developers are working around the clock, extremely hard to continue to innovate, but to make sure that you have the best tools and the best leads in the industry to help you to become the best agent in your market. And so watch for those new leads and those new systems that will make your life much more easy and help you become a more effective real estate agent in those markets. So we're excited about that, excited about the announcement. It's a big announcement for us and something we've been working on for quite some time and should help our clients, again, become more effective with their prospecting and with reaching out to each of these sellers.
Wonderful. Well, Shaun, thank you again for your time. And to our audience, I want to thank you as well. I want to thank everyone for listening to today's show. And again, that was landvoice.com. And this has been Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.
This program has been a presentation by Tim and Julie Harris, Real Estate Coaching. For more information on our real estate coaching and training programs, visit our website at timandjulieharris.com. Remember to tune in weekdays at noon for upcoming shows, and until next time, thank you for listening to Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.